what yourself down here tonight? We spoke to some of Friends of the Earth, another Green Party member. Have you any ties around, or just concerned citizen?
I've been following Barton Moss's plans and all the protectors and people that are doing a great job, unpaid job of protecting our communities and the water safety, and I've come down here to show my support as much as I can, and because as well I think this is a setting where I feel quite comfortable. I was very dismayed by the appearance of social services at the Barton Moss camp, and I think it's nice that we can bring our children and show them what freedom of speech means. I think with Barton Moss, people were expecting that it was going to be less in the public domain, so I think it gave the freedom of the police and, you know, who I believe were betraying the public in a lot of the actions that they took, and it's been proven in court now that they have made a real devastating impact on our faith in the police as well, which I think is a sad shame for us, and especially for our children as well.
As for the, how it is here in Trafford at Davy Hume, are you optimistic that it won't get to the same point that it got with Barton Moss, or how do you see this developing?
I think the number of honks that we've had of people going past and the diversity of the people here, and that it's bringing people together to say no, we do not want this. The bribe that's been offered, £1,000, £100,000, sorry, has been offered to the councils. Really, is it worth risking giving us all cancer and ill health and that just for the sake of a little bribe? I don't think it's right.
Well,
I think people are in an uproar about it, and thankfully we're out here now to show that we support, that we are against fracking in our local community, and I think the council needs to listen to that very clearly and listen to all the beeps that we're getting. It's considering the budget of different things going on and what the council pay for. £100,000 is quite a small amount of money for, to sell our safety for. I think it's underestimating what the trouble that it could cause and the amount that it would cost to clear up after we've devastated our land.
Do you see this as a victory, or how do you see this yourself then?
We see this as part of a struggle. Until they have finally refused permission for this application, we're going to continue coming out here, we're going to continue putting pressure on them until IGAS has been told that they can't drill for coal bed methane at Davy Hume.
Now, obviously, it's not shale gas that they're trying to mine. It's trying to extract. It's coal bed gas mining. Do you think that might have any other sort of political implications, or any other different climate implications? For example, yourself, Friends of the Earth.
They're both dirty fuels. We have already been told that we've exceeded our carbon budget. We can't burn any more fossil fuels without exceeding the 2% climate target that we've committed to. And coal bed methane, shale gas, they're both types of dirty fossil fuels, and we can't afford to be extracting them. They may seem to be slightly different, but that's mainly because of the depth at which they're present in the strata. One's about 3,000 foot down, one's about 9,000 foot down. They're still going to be polluting the groundwater, and they're going to be contributing to climate change.
Now, the council had registered 222 concerns. That was in the paper that they were going to put to the committee tonight. They've told me today that the reason why they decided against that was because they had other concerns. I mean, do you think there are any other motivations behind why this might have been cancelled tonight or deferred for another time?
I think one major factor may have been that Friends of the Earth presented an argument based on legal objections last week relating to European directives and the requirement to carry out an environmental impact assessment on the application. And we don't believe that's been carried out efficiently as the law requires. So we're convinced that has played a crucial role in them deciding to defer the decision tonight.
Okay.
So we were originally going to base our objection merely on the grounds of public opposition, because as you can see, we've had 1,300 people sign a petition all over Trafford, from Altrincham right up to Old Trafford and over to Flixton. But the high up people in the National Defence of the Earth discovered that they found a hole in the planning process. So we decided we would go with that as a more cogent argument, really.
Obviously, they've pulled the application today.
Yes.
They've deferred it for another time.
Yeah.
Do you find that's a victory, or are you disheartened by that, or how do you feel?
It's not quite either. It's just another chore to keep tracking them and watching what they're doing next, to catch them when they're actually going to do something. When are they really going to decide? You wonder if they're going to decide in secret and then they just quickly have an approval meeting. You know, how is that going to be conducted, the research? I've been active in Barton Moss, which is a little bit further over as well. You know, walking in front of lorries every day. I don't know if you've ever seen any of these lorries. The size of them and the impact of them on a tiny country lane and the cottages and farms along there. And that'll get 10 times worse when they resume activities at Barton Moss if we can't stop that. And they've got riches galore. They're bribing councils, they're bribing the government. Well, the government's all in it, thick as can be. They're shareholders. They believe in it. Well, they believe in riches and they don't believe in the existence of the poor at all. They don't want any of us to survive. This council has just taken money from all the children, needy families, disabled people. Just today, or the news came out today, they've just slashed the budget for the needy. But the chief executive has just had a 30% rise.
You know, they did say that, for shale gas, not too sure about coal bed methane, which this is, for shale gas anyway, they were going to give each council £100,000 plus 1% of the profits. So is that a fair trade-off, do you think?
It's outrageous that there's any kind of bribery going on. It is pure bribery, isn't it? And I can't weigh up the figures because I don't know anything about big business. But I know that ordinary people all over Trafford are not going to like it if it happens. That most people don't know what's really going to happen. But right across America, the underwater resources have been poisoned, the air has been poisoned, people are getting cancer. The research is coming through very slowly, and the rich companies are blocking it, won't let it get published.
And do you think, you say that a lot of people are getting ill and there's all sorts of poison and stuff in America.
Yeah.
Do you think there's maybe an ideological drive to actually make people ill? Do you think that actually is part of it?
You begin to wonder, because I'm sorry, but David Cameron is one person who is not human. He has been to one of these awful public schools where they beat them up and treat them. How can they be human if they're treated so badly as pupils anyway? But they're trained from babyhood to believe they own the world.
You organised the event tonight. Were you disheartened that they pulled the application, or do you feel it's a victory for yourselves? Or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a partial victory. You know, they're obviously running scared a bit. They know that there's a lot of feeling about this. They know that things are different from 3 years ago when they first gave that application, and they gave them the go-ahead to do this, even though I guess they're not saying they're going to drill yet. If they'd renewed that application, then that would have been a real setback, and that would have given them the green light. So I think they've responded to pressure, which is good, local democracy. We thought it was important that we still turn up even though they've cancelled the meeting, and we just have to watch out for any kind of legal subterfuge that they try and slip it in, because they're under pressure from the government. The government want this to happen. They want to frack the countryside and cause incredible environmental damage, which is utterly irresponsible. We'll be here.
You've got two parties in that council, and neither of them seem to be heavily against it. Why do you think that might be?
That's not fair. I'm a member of the Green Party. We've got no councillors, but the Labour group are very much against it. So the Tories are worried they're going to lose votes. I was on the radio talking about this last night, saying, Tory voters also care about the environment, and really the tide has turned on this. In the last 6 months, 80% of applications for this sort of drilling have been rejected up and down the country. The Tory council has rejected an application. So, I'm quite optimistic at the moment in the short term about fracking in the UK.
And this site, obviously, it's very, very close to the Barton Moss site. Do you think there are any links there? Obviously, iGas and Peel both together on both cases. The Barton Moss seems to have progressed quite a lot further than this. So do you think that might mean that this could go the same direction? You know.
Well, the common denominator there is Peel Group, run by the billionaire who lives, excuse me, on the Isle of Man. So they don't care about the environment. Obviously, they want this to happen. It's about, at the moment, it's about politics, because they can't do it unless the council give them the go-ahead. So it's a matter of how much the council are going to listen to the people. So we have to keep building a movement, keep making people aware, letting people know about the dangers and the massive damage that's being caused in America through fracking.